Okay, in this class we're going to create a trigger that will automatically collect your money. So this class will be an introduction to triggers, which are one of the most powerful features in the whole site. You're really gonna like these. Okay, so follow along with me. Go to Settings and Triggers. Now, in order to understand what triggers are, let's just jump into one. Go Add Trigger, and let me explain. So triggers allow you to set up events or conditions. And when these conditions are met anytime in the site, then it's going to perform an action. So this is something that happens automatically. And by building a set of triggers over time, your company will become more and more automated. You can use these for so many things. So let's jump into it. Give it a name, something you'll remember. Now the trigger target describes who this trigger is about. Do you want to use all companies? Tags, like in other portions of the site, you can designate by only firing if they have this tag, or you can make it specific to one customer. Let's do all companies. Active or no just turns it on or off so that you can build it, come back to it later without it firing, and then select your condition. So this list is always getting bigger, but let me explain what they do. Order status changes to. So in this case, if your order status, any order in the system changes from this to this, this to this. So if it changes to ordered, for example, then it will fire. So with this trigger, you can fire a trigger based on any movement in the system for any order. Additionally, you can make it product tag specific. So let me give you an example of what this would be. Let's say that we want to know if the order status changes to ship and the product tag, let's say we have a certain group of products that have specific shipping requirements. So let's say custom wrap. And in the system we don't have one yet, but you get the idea. You'd select the custom wrap tag, and actually once this goes to completed, that's when we'd want to do this. So once an order gets changed to completed and it has products in it that have this tag, it's going to send an email, or send a text, add an announcement, or add a task. Before we dive into all these actions, let's go back up here and look at some of the other options. Okay, if remake status changes to, this is the same type of thing except if it's a remake. So this is just like the order status changes to, except in the remake system. Order process started. So this fires when any order process is started, and this is when any of them are ended. So the system knows when something is beginning and when it is ending. Based on the time tracking system, the employees can signify whether they are beginning the job or ending the job. So this would fire when it started, this would fire when it ended. Order past due by. This means that the order is delinquent in payment. If we click on it, we'll see that we get a box to signify how many days. So we can say if it's past 30 days, do this, or if it's past 15 or whatever. So you can see with this one feature how powerful this can be in creating a collection system that will just automatically collect your money for you. We'll come back to this. When a payment is made, pretty self-explanatory. When any of your customers pays their bill, new company created. So any new company signs up for an account on this site. This is extremely useful for welcome emails and that type of thing. New company contact created. Same type of thing except the person within the company. New individual created. We went over the difference between company contacts, and individuals earlier on. And this just gives you 3 different options. So you can split them up if you need to. New product created. This is nice for employees. If a new product is added to the system, you might want to send an email to your employees telling them to check it out and get familiar with it. New supply created, same type of thing. New remote request. We'll get into this later when we go over the business-to-business settings. It's an advanced feature we'll worry about later. Note created on. So this is nice because we can select if a note is created for any of these entities, and if it is, we can be notified of. And finance charge created. So in this scenario, you could possibly send an email to your customer telling them that we just charged them finance charge and they need to pay their bill down. Now, this isn't a complete list of ideas of what you can do with triggers. Obviously, a whole world could open up, and as you run your business with Allmoxy, be thinking of how you can use triggers to solve problems so that you don't have to deal with those problems manually ever again. So let's move down to the action section. So send an email is our first option. You can tell the system whether to use tags for the recipient. So let's say that you want to create a tag called accounting department, and you want to put all the email addresses in for all of the accounting people at all the companies that buy from you. You could just use the accounting department tag here, and it'll look for all the people that have that and send the email to them. Or you could send it to the primary contact, a custom address, and you could add as many as you need, or you can send it to one of your employees. As with other email creators, you need to give the email a subject, a reply to address, and you can attach exporters. And in some cases, you can attach both exporters and output pages. Now let that sink in for a minute and think about all the ways that you can use this to interact with your customers. Aside from those options, there's an email message editor. This allows you to create really nicely formatted emails full of images, tables, headlines, colors, whatever you need to do. And don't forget that you can add variables in the text that will automatically insert this information to create a very customized email. So to give you an example of what you can do here, let's go ahead and create a real trigger that you're going to want. So let's create one that automatically collects money for you. So let's say order past due by 1 day. So the system knows the grace period you've given them. So if you've given them 30 days to pay, then this email is going to fire at 31 days. We're going to send an email. In this case, let's just send it to the primary contact. Although my example before with the accountant group would be better for this case. But I don't have that set up, so just for ease, let's do this. Let's give it a subject and a reply address. Let's attach, in this case, the invoice. And let's craft a nice little message. Hey, put their recipient name. So give them a URL to go to, make it a link, something like this. So you can see that you could create a whole series of collection emails just like this with differing degrees of, as the day's aging gets further out, these emails can continue to get more blunt and serious, leading up to collections and whatever else you need to do. But using this system is how Allmoxy customers go from something like 60 days aging to 18. Those are real statistics from our customers. It's pretty amazing, and it's all done automatically. So please play around with this, come up with a couple triggers and activate them. Mess around in your instance so that they actually fire. Send them to yourself at first so that you can understand how they work. Do this a few times until you get comfortable with triggers, and then create more and more. Most of all, have fun with these.